Marcus Aurelius lived his daily life according to these habits. It is a sobering thought to consider that Marcus Aurelius, the leader of the mightiest empire on the planet, only had 24 hours in a day. How did he manage it all? How did he manage to juggle being a writer, philosopher, king, and spouse, with the need to enact laws, try cases, command armies in combat, and lead Rome through a devastating plague? How could he have done all of this without losing his moral integrity or succumbing to pressures or temptations associated with his position? Well, routine had a part in it. Like all Stoics, Marcus Aurelius was a creature of habit. Like Aristotle, they recognized that our actions are what define us. They realized that being exceptional is a habit. Marcus Aurelius saw the daybreak early in the morning. He would grab his sheets and pen when he woke up. He was aware that he was getting up to do a human task. There was not time for him to curl up beneath the blankets and keep warm as he slept. When the sun came up, Marco would take out his diary and write for a few minutes on the blank page, allowing his mind to clear and helping him to recall what really mattered. He would get ready for the day, aware that he would encounter rude, resentful, short-sighted, and irritating individuals. However, Marcus Aurelius realized that he had to stop letting such individuals affect his life. He had to do what his conscience told him to do. Most likely, Marcus Aurelius started with his most crucial assignments. He wanted to get things started while he was still fresh and didn't believe in procrastinating. Marcus had learnt to work long hours and to persevere from his stepfather, the Roman Emperor Antonius Pius, who used to advise him to do it as if it were the last and most important thing in your life. As a result, Marcus was laser-focused on everything in front of him. He also said in his meditation that he liked how Antony planned his restroom breaks so that he could work for extended periods of time without interruption. Marcus performed his job without complaint and didn't avoid hard effort. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The echo of what we do now echoes into eternity." However, what about stress? Marcus Aurelius used exercise as a coping mechanism for his stress. He would often take a break to go horseback riding or hunting. According to Marcus Aurelius, we often want to separate our minds from events, yet the things we need to separate from are our ideas, because distressing thoughts are what really exist. Thus, the concepts that we ourselves have in our minds are what cause stress. Marcus Aurelius mentions finding and achieving silence about a dozen times in the Meditations. Those periods of peace would have been crucial. We are unable to contemplate, to clear our brains, to have a broad perspective, or to be philosophical in the absence of calm. Regarding food, nevertheless, what can be said? Marcus seems to have been someone who ate to survive rather than someone who eats to survive. He ate rapidly and healthily, didn't overindulge in food, and didn't give a damn about fine dining, wine, or chefs who were trained in their craft. The natural fuel was food, so he obtained it and continued. Although Marcus's reading age is unknown, it is certain that books had a significant role in his life, as they would have for any intellectual person. Marcus was constantly studying to become better since he understood he had to read to lead. He was constantly looking for historical context and preferred reading to the latest rumors and breaking news. And then it was time to spend time with family as the day drew to a conclusion. Marco was obviously devoted to his wife and kids. Despite his prominence, importance, and hectic schedule, he paid attention to them. As he put his kids to bed, Marcus Aurelius would reportedly say to himself, "Hurry up, this might be the last time you do this. It's not a guarantee that any of you will survive the night." This is how we know he enjoyed putting his kids to bed at night. It's actually the most philosophical and final part of his routine. The most important thing in his life was this person in front of him, and he loved them for that, and he would say, good night. For as long as he was fortunate enough to survive, Marco would retire to bed soon after and repeat the whole procedure, so we must follow suit. We are our actions, again and over. We too may lead virtuous lives and emulate Marcus Aurelius's excellent habits. We are able to accomplish it each and every day. Habits are a component of what Epictet famously stated: you have to decide who you want to be and do it well. Repeated actions that eventually become ingrained in our everyday routines are known as habits. Therefore, habits eventually turn into second nature. We surely develop into the people we want to be when we adopt these daily routine-based concepts from Marcus Aurelius. This is how a best-selling book gets written. That's how a company is built. That's how a brand is developed. That's how you become an expert in any field, talent, or business. A successful life of excellent habits follows from being successful in everything that we do. We will feel more alive and confident if we concentrate on our objectives and make the necessary adjustments to get there. Music. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor of the 2nd century AD, is credited with formulating the third of his 3 rules of life. Don't waste any more time arguing about what a good man should be. Aurelius was the last of 5 acknowledged good emperors to reign Rome. The empire was sustained by knowledge and virtue under his direction. Stoicism, a philosophy that prioritized destiny, reason, and self-control, was the subject of his studies. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher and former slave, was the primary influence on Aurelius, despite the fact that he was affected by numerous thinkers and intellectual writings. The emperor wrote a collection of autobiographical works known as the Meditations when he was in power. Even though the Meditations were never meant for publication, they are nonetheless printed today and may even be more well-liked than before. The journal demonstrates that the world's most powerful man was experiencing the same issues that we do now and will continue to face in the future. Come along as we explore the 3 life principles that Marcus thought were essential to leading fulfilling lives and how we may modify them to fit with our contemporary lifestyles. First rule: always strive for an objective assessment of the occurrences. Epictetus's discipline of assent, which involves making accurate judgments about your impression, that is, about the nature of the external world and the events that occur in it, had an influence on Marcus Aurelius's instruction in Book 4 of the Meditations. Suppress the value judgment you add, and the "I have been hurt" is also suppressed. Suppress the "I have been hurt," and the "hurt is" also suppressed. Aurelius teaches us that while we make judgments about everything, they are value judgments, which add a subjective element to our analysis. Imagine that one day, while you are traveling, an automobile approaches you from behind and makes a sharp turn, almost colliding with your vehicle. You swerve to escape the crash as your instincts take over. Usually you'll then lose your temper, start cursing at the driver, and start acting rudely. Emotions are now active at various times. Initially, your feelings warn you of the threat, and you take swift action to escape it. This is how emotions should be used. But shortly after you thought you could have avoided the accident, other feelings seized over, and you were enraged. This is the wrong application of feelings. This is no longer a time to be furious. The threat to your life has gone. All you are doing is letting out your annoyance, which is pointless and may even work against you by making you more upset and prone to accidents. The final portion, "and that hurt me," or "I could have died," is the value judgment component. When something unpleasant occurs to us, we say, "Such and such happened to me, and that hurt." In this situation, we would add, "I could have died." Thus, by removing this last component, you prevent the negative thing from affecting you. Using your brain was the most important aspect of living in harmony with nature, according to the Stoics. Instead of adding our own subjective interpretations to our decisions, we should make an effort to employ reason and reasonable thinking to decide whether or not to agree with the impression. So how can we use reason to arrive at sound decisions? We do this by using reason, just as the ancient Stoics did 2 millennia ago. This is referred to as cognitive distance in the contemporary world. The primary prelude to cognitive behavioral treatment, or CBT, is known as cognitive distancing. It is the capacity to recognize our own assumptions and ideas and to disentangle them from outside happenings. Adversity, belief, and consequences, or the ABC model of CBT, is a basic example of cognitive processes. Consider that you were just let go from your job. The layoff is the difficulty, and our representation or explanation of it is the belief. In this situation, we could feel helpless or worry about the mortgage or unforeseen circumstances in the future. The emotions that the idea arouses are known as consequences. Maybe we're angry or depressed. You are not making an impartial assessment when you make a decision like this and give the events significance. Thus, always remember to take each situation as it comes and use the discipline of judgment to consider if your opinions are warranted. Let's say you believe you are unworthy and that you will never get a job or lose your house after being dismissed from your work. Is being fired a clear sign that you are unworthy or that you won't be able to obtain employment in the future? Naturally, no. Of course, there are other jobs out there, and if you improve yourself over time, you could eventually get a position that's better than the one you left. Non-cognitive behaviors may serve to further support this. You may think of mindfulness meditation as a non-cognitive activity. When you meditate, all you are able to do is focus on your ideas as they arise and pass. You may note how different the ideas and sensations connected with being written off as worthless are from the concept that you are not your thoughts. Believing these things is one thing, but developing a keen sense for them is quite another. As Marcus Aurelius would argue, by adopting this strategy, we are putting certain external events' values on hold in order to prevent unpleasant feelings. Has your spouse been unfaithful to you? Have you suffered financial loss? Are you being laughed at by others? Do something or move on. Something has occurred. Aim for objective assessments of events, since they cannot harm you if you do not let them. The second rule is to only want what you can control. Inspired by Epictetus's discipline of desire, Marcus Aurelius states in the 7th book of his Meditations, "Love only the event that comes upon us and is bound to us by fate." According to the Stoics, there are 4 passions that stand in the way of our happiness and cause us to suffer. They separated the 4 passions into 2 categories: desire, which is for things not now owned or expected in the future, and pleasure and misery, which are for things that an individual is currently engaged with. We will concentrate on the emotion of desire in this rule. All that Marcus Aurelius cared about was what he could control or what occurred to him. He would often remind himself during his meditations that the majority of life's events are out of his control. Life is erratic, he concluded. Nothing has altered in that aspect in 2 millennia. We often make wishes for things that are beyond of our control, such as more money, a better career, a larger home, more social media followers, or maybe the assurance that our spouse would always adore us, that our buddies will always be faithful to us. Sitting about in the same social circle and with the same habits we have always had, we wait, hoping, pleading, wanting, praying for change to happen or for luck to surprise us. We never stop wanting a better, higher-paying job, but we won't develop any new skills that might help us get that position. Rather of wasting time and effort praying and hoping for a better outcome, We should concentrate on what we can control and begin making changes. We must be self-sufficient and accountable for our actions, not depending on the whims of fate or the gods to grant us our wishes. Marcus Aurelius advises us not to put our hope in unknowns and to confine our wants to what we can control, such taking purposeful action if we want to advance in life. Anything you want or desire will require your deliberation and consideration, not desire. Desire is really, I want this car, and once I get it, I will be happy. Whereas deliberate action is, if I want this car, then I have to get the money, and to do that, I must put in extra hours and effort to learn new skills and work hard to realize those funds. Therefore, rather of feeling horrible about not getting the automobile even after working hard and fulfilling all requirements, you should accept it with grace. Stoics believe that we have no control over results, no matter what they may be. Hence, when things don't go your way, you should love them and accept them for who they are, rather of being upset or responding unhealthily. Just want what you can control and accept what is beyond your control, since most things in life are beyond your control. Third rule, consider the welfare of others. Marcus Aurelius teaches us two things in Book 12 of his Meditations. First, don't tie your actions to anything other than an aim or purpose that benefits the human society. And second, don't do anything at random or unrelated to any objective or end. The action discipline of Epictetus has an impact on this rule. Performing the proper actions for the proper reasons is the foundation of the discipline of action. It concerns what you should do. Being a man of action, Marcus Aurelius serves as a reminder to us to eliminate impulses from our life and give our actions meaning. It's likely that you play several roles throughout life. These might have to do with your personal life, your work, or your family. Stoics believe that improving things is our purpose for being. Make a list, then consider the goals you want to accomplish for each of these jobs and the responsibilities that go along with them. Your purpose for the present and the future should be shaped by the list of these jobs. It has been shown that this kind of motivation is essential to reaching your objectives. Serving the common good is the larger vision Marcus Aurelius wants us to have. All humans, even the egotistical, intrusive, dishonest, scheming, jealous and aloof ones, exist to support one another. We are social creatures by nature, and our moral instincts enable us to exist in communities. It is unreasonable and goes against human nature to behave differently and live like an animal. Since we are all a part of the larger world, our actions also reflect our position within it. Our society serves as the glue that keeps us together. Thus, there must always be an ethical motivation behind our actions. Consider lying as an example. Lying will come back to haunt you. You will lose the confidence of others, which may affect how you are treated going forward. There will be repercussions even if you escape detection at other people's cost. One poor decision may ruin your reputation. Thus, use caution while acting. Based on the decisions made by certain individuals, actions are either good or wicked. Every decision you make will have an impact on who you are as a person. Consequently, remember to be an active agent, as Marcus Aurelius would say. Continue to actively contribute to creating a better world. To behave in the best interests of society as a whole, we must take into account the impact of our actions on other people. To further the benefit of others, one must rise beyond self-interest and selfishness. Marcus Aurelius urges us to consider the motivations underlying our actions and match them with a just goal that advances mankind. This may take many forms, ranging from modest everyday deeds of generosity and compassion to more extensive commitments to social and environmental concerns. We cultivate virtues like empathy, compassion, and solidarity by working for the common good, in addition to advancing societal peace and development. These virtues not only improve each of our lives on an individual basis, but also support a more fair and equitable society for everyone by strengthening the social fabric. To put it briefly, the three principles of life proposed by Marcus Aurelius provide us a moral and useful framework for leading a purposeful and happy existence. It is possible to cultivate knowledge, virtue, and pleasure for ourselves and others by working for the common good, striving for a pure assessment of events, and seeking just what is within our control. As a result, we take Marcus Aurelius's advice and design both our personal pleasure and the well-being of all others. Good man, simply be one. Contemplation, Stoicism, and Marcus Aurelius's wisdom. None of these words were written by Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher and Stoic emperor of Rome, from 161 to 180 years after Christ. Instead, the art of truly living in this world is more like that of a wrestler than that of a dancer, for in this both agree in teaching man everything that touches him to be prepared for it. While on several military expeditions between 170 and 180 AD, Marcus maintained a personal journal in which he wrote down his ideas about using Stoic philosophy to better his life and deal with life's challenges. We are going to look at some of the useful tips for enhancing our lives that can be found in this diary, which is called the Meditations. We will specifically examine some of the methods Marcus used to attain serenity, a psychological state characterized by the lack of unpleasant emotions like pain, wrath, or worry, and an emphasis on the presence of happy emotions. Before we begin this wonderful lesson, we would really appreciate it if you could subscribe, like, and click the bell so that you don't miss any of our upcoming films on topics like pleasure and calm that will aid in your personal growth as a Stoic. It was, apart from virtue, the ultimate aim of a practicing Roman Stoic such as Marcus Aurelius. The central tenet of the Stoic style of living is that what matters most for our happiness and peaceful existence is the internal dialogue that goes along with the events in our lives, not what actually occurs to us. According to Marcus Aurelius, you have power over your mind, not over external events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The Stoics believed that achieving any outward good, such as riches, fame, attractiveness, or influence over others, was not the path to a happy life. They believed that mastery of the mind, not any of them, was the way to a happy existence. The Stoics made the point that because external circumstances might cause things to come and go, we forfeit control over our life if we base our pleasure on them. A guy who is self-conscious about his looks will eventually become older. A wealthy man might easily lose his wealth, and a well-known actress can become weary of the fleeting nature of things. The Stoics believed that we had the ability to control how our mind frames or interprets life's experiences, in contrast to material possessions. Whether we realize it or not, there are too many cues and perspectives to consider when anything occurs, making it difficult to interpret in a single manner. We create the mentality, so to speak. We must realize that we don't have to react negatively to setbacks or cruel treatment in order to minimize the impact of negative emotions. The Stoics believed that we should take control of this fact and use it to our advantage. The incapacity of most people to live in the moment is one of the primary factors that affects the quality of ideas, as Marcus Aurelius acknowledged. This is why it is so important, because, as he stated, the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. On the other hand, individuals often worry about the future or ruminate on the past. Epictetus, the great slave philosopher, taught Marcus a method that helped him better appreciate each moment. This method, which is now referred to as negative visualization, entails considering how fleeting everything outside of our control is. For example, One should consider their own mortality in silence while assessing a body. The Stoics believed that individuals needed to be more conscious of the transient nature of everything, even if some would find this to be gloomy. Marcus Aurelius also cautioned against taking too much pleasure in these reflections, should their loss ruin our peace of mind. Additionally, he reflected on the idea that his own death may occur at any time and utilized the negative vision to help him live more in the present. The Stoics believed that a person was more inclined to live life to the fullest and try to enjoy each moment if they were aware that it may end at any time. This kind of understanding also helps put many of the issues that most people worry about in perspective. Worrying about other people's views may also cause bad feelings and disrupt our quality of cognition, in addition to worrying about the past and the future. Marcus argued that an overabundance of worry about these decisions would not result in a fulfilling existence, but rather an unhappy one. One of the reasons why individuals at the station have little value in their comments is because most of them are focused with unimportant things. Marcus Aurelius was also against looking to the masses or following the majority's consensus to determine how one should live. In his own words, all that people in life is emptiness, rottenness, pettiness, dogs biting each other, children laughing while fighting and suddenly bursting into tears. It makes sense for someone who aspires to peace of mind that he said, "The aim of life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the mad." Epictetus himself counseled against being enraged when someone insults or offends us. Marcus advised against matching evil with evil, and instead realized that the greatest form of retaliation is to not act in the same way as the one who insulted you. When another blames you or hates you, or people express similar criticisms, look into their souls, penetrate into their inner selves, and see what kind of people they are. You will realize that there is no need to be tormented by the idea that they have any particular opinion against you. Marcus Aurelius is a wise man, and using his teachings to help transform your life requires repeated practice of Stoic techniques. Yes, but because Stoic philosophy has endured the test of time, those that practice and put in the work will probably be rewarded. Based on the ideas of Stoicism, cognitive behavioral therapy is one of the most successful psychotherapy approaches for treating depression and anxiety disorders. 10 Stoic teachings of Marcus Aurelius that we desperately need today. Practical Stoicism. This therapy explains very well why we should not put off our efforts to improve ourselves. Remember how long you have been putting this off. At some point, you have to recognize what world you belong to, what power governs it, and from what source you spring. Be aware that there is a limit to the time allotted to you, and if you don't use it to free yourself, it will go away and never come back. One of the last decent Roman emperors who really gave a damn about his subjects' well-being was Marcus Aurelius. He lived at a period when turmoil and death were commonplace. The Meditations are the name we currently give to the self-help book he authored. Though he penned these remarks almost 2 millennia ago, his concepts are still very relevant today. The following are some concepts from his Stoic philosophy that we might use in our own lives to give them significance. 1. Never mind what people do. Our time is very short, as Marcus Aurelius states. Don't waste what's left of your life speculating about your neighbors. Anything that distracts you from faithfulness means a loss of opportunity for some other task. We shouldn't squander our limited resources caring about our neighbors. Why does it matter what others think of us and what they do? Ignore everyone else and concentrate on the work at hand. What is our mission, whatever our earthly vocation may be? Making art, inspiring people, or raising a loving family is to do. Because of social media, We are glued to what other people are doing these days. We spend mental energy comparing ourselves to other people and feeling jealous of them, which makes us feel that we are not as successful as our peers. You have to step back from doing everything that other people are concerned about in order to remain focused and disregard what they are doing. Take off all social media applications from your phone and give yourself a week to avoid checking Facebook, Instagram, or any other social media platform. This does not imply that you should ignore your loved ones. Instead, try this out for a week. It will enable you to focus entirely on meeting your own requirements. It will help you stay focused on your own creativity and lessen your feelings of jealousy. 2. Your beliefs shape your world. According to Marcus Aurelius, life is nothing but what you consider. Life is opinion. It implies that there isn't a true adjective in existence. Through our ideas, we create the reality we live in and the world we see. The outer world is real and separate from our senses. Keeping an optimistic outlook on everything is the practical method to implement this mentality in your life. Let's take an example where someone whispers behind your back about you. Moreover, when someone insults, tries to hurt, or criticizes us, it's not the insult. It's self that hurts us. Rather, it's how we interpret what they say that does. So, instead of getting frustrated, you can tell yourself, I'm glad someone is talking about me. It means I'm not boring and I'm doing something interesting. How can we feel upset if we consider other people's actions to be unimportant? Try this for a week. Find the good in every situation that comes your way. Consider this. How can this insult make me a stronger person? For instance, if you are insulted, see every situation as a chance to improve. 3. Reduce your efforts. Marcus Aurelius teaches us of the value of living a simpler life and eliminating pointless actions. The wise guy stated, "Let your deeds be few if you want to know satisfaction." Even better, restrict your interactions to those that are necessary for social reasons. And the way it demands makes a lot of our words and actions superfluous. We will experience less stress if we refrain from doing ineffective actions. Eliminating superfluous things from our lives will allow us to concentrate more on the things that really matter to us in life. The less words, actions, ideas, and emotions we have, the less time we will waste. That may be the chance to spend time with your loved ones, engage in artistic endeavors, or provide a helping hand to others. Every week, ask yourself whether what you're doing is productive. You may use this in a variety of ways while making judgments. Consider this. Is this social gathering constructive? If you have commitments to others, as much as you can, practice saying no. 4. The door of death is ajar. Your life narrative is now complete. Going forward, think of any more time that could be granted as a surplus, not negotiated. Consider all the individuals who learn they have cancer or another illness. After realizing this, people stop doing everything they dislike and concentrate only on the things that really matter to them. We do not squander time or our limited free time when we are aware that death is imminent, watching TV or engaging in other passive activities. We scramble to work on projects that excite us and are important to us. We cut out unproductive people and actions from our life and spend more time with those we love, bringing to mind that death provides us with direction. Imagine if this is your final day on Earth right now. How would you respond? What wouldn't you do on a typical day? To your loved ones, what would you say? With whom would you choose to spend time, and with whom would you choose not to? What artistic gesture would you make? If you knew today was your last, what would you not do with your life? Think about this all the time and live each day as if it were your last, because it certainly will be. 5. You underestimate your strength. Marcus Aurelius once said, "How fortunate I am that he has left me without bitterness, unshaken by the present and unmoved by the future." Keep that in mind the next time someone attempts to injure you. It indicates that you are stronger than you realize. Anyone may have experienced the same incident, but not everyone would have emerged unscathed. It is beyond your control to stop others from cursing at you. However, you have the power to alter how they see the circumstances. You will have to battle hard opponents if you wish to be a professional boxer. You will bruise, bleed, even break a few bones, but in the process, you will get stronger. To be honest, living may be difficult at times, and it takes courage to do so. Imagine yourself today as the world's strongest individual. You are more powerful than all of them. Imagine a swarm of arrows attempting to penetrate your golden armor whenever someone tries to harm you. Others are like ants attempting to hurt you. You are a giant. Remind yourself every time anything bad happens to you, "Thank God, I am so strong. I have not been broken by this, but others may have been." Humanity is lifting you up with its job. What was your purpose in life? Marcus Aurelius informs us that the true delight of a man is to do that for which he was created. That varies. Your gifts may include the following: the capacity to read and write, the ability to conduct research, the capacity to synthesize information and data, the capacity to create images, the capacity to empower others, the capacity to educate, or the capacity to simply make the world a more beautiful place. Find out what you have to give and how to effectively share it with others. Ask your mother, relatives, or acquaintances if you are unsure about what your gift is. Recall your childhood abilities and how you may best use your unique talent to benefit others in your immediate vicinity. How can you use your skill to best empower humanity? Don't let distractions interfere with your meditation on this. 7. Never voice grievances. Marcus Aurelius states, "Your cucumber is bitter, throw it away. Are there brambles in your path? Move aside. That's enough." It implies that if there is anything bothering us, why should we complain? Simply disregard it. Cut off your social connections with them or cease following them on social media if you detest your employment. Either find a different technique to lessen the agony or misery of your employment or resign. A lot of the time, we are powerless to alter the outside environment. However, we may always adopt a different perspective on it. The majority of us are strapped for time, energy, or cash. But how can we make the most of what we have in light of our limited resources? Consider how to make the most of your limited resources to complete the tasks in your life, rather of dwelling on your complaints. Assume you have always wanted to launch your own company, but lack the necessary funds, time, or expertise. How can you make money off of that? It is possible that you are not hindered by any dogmas in your commercial dealings. Perhaps your lack of wealth allows you to be more imaginative. Make your company affordable by being thrifty with it. Restraints are what inspire creativity. Thus, make constructive use of your limits. 8. Anywhere is a good place to live. What causes a lot of misery for many of us is our homes where we live and the desire to be somewhere else. Marcus Aurelius says, "Let it be clear to you that the rhythm of the green fields can always be yours in this, that, or any other place, and that nothing is different here from what it would be, whether in the hills or by the sea or wherever." Even if we reside in the suburbs, we could still want to be in the city. Even if we have the option, we would still rather live in the country. It is possible for us to live in one city and want to move to another. However, the fact is that our location does not impact our level of happiness. Contentment is a decision. Remind yourself today that you can find happiness wherever you are. It is up to you to decide to be content. To be happy, you don't have to be someplace else. Contentment resides inside you, not on the exterior. It's always your choice to be content. 9. Cherish your fate. Many of us are unhappy because we don't accept our fate. Marcus Aurelius states, "Whether you are at home or leaving home, you should keep this in mind, that obstacles are not on the road, but in the mind. You will not waste time or complain about your destiny." We believe we are not where we should be, which is why we are dissatisfied with our life. Alternatively, we become upset with fate because we believe we are not where we want to be. However, fate is indestructible. Your fate cannot be altered. You may, however, alter your perspective on it. To be happy, one must choose to embrace one's fate. There isn't a substitute. There isn't an alternative. Accept your fate now. Recognize that, at this moment in your life, you are exactly where you should be. Accept your shortcomings, errors, and blunders. Acquire knowledge from your errors, setbacks, and shortcomings. Cherish your fate. Cherish your existence. Respect your identity. Appreciate your true identity. 10. Recall that everything is fleeting. We suffer in life because we believe that life is everlasting, as Marcus Aurelius tells us. Don't you know that human life is so fleeting? Some spend it here and some there, and none for long. What is left for him but a little mud and some empty words? However, the reality is that everything in life is ephemeral. Things will always change, shatter, and disintegrate. We cannot stop them. However, our interpretations of events are up to us. Our interpretations of events are up to us. Furthermore, we have a choice in how we wish to live. Reflect on the fleeting nature of everything today. Imagine that tomorrow everything that you now own would go. Given what you have today, how would you value it? Would you be appreciative of what you now have? Would you be more mindful of the here and now? Never forget this. Everything is ephemeral, and cherish what you now have. You are stronger than you realize, therefore don't be frightened of dying. You always have the option to choose happiness, regardless of what life throws at you. The source of happiness is inside you, not outside of you. Instead of whining about your fate, embrace it. Never forget that life is just temporary. Life is not long. Seize each moment as if it were your last one, the field. We may wish we lived on the beach if we live in the country. We may wish we lived on an island, but we do live on a beach. Living in a suburban area may be more comfortable for us if we were island dwellers. The more energy, money, and attention you could have, the better things in life, if you were content with your current location and your home, and didn't wish you lived someplace else, in a larger area or in a nicer home. Make a list of the things you like about your house, neighborhood, or city. Never consider the drawbacks, and conversely, consider all the other locations you would rather call home. Next, list the drawbacks of relocating, such as higher living expenses, more traffic, more pollution, a longer commute to friends and family, and so on. Next, make an effort to stop whining about your house or neighborhood. Give your artistic endeavors your whole attention and focus. Promote the welfare of everybody. The words of Marcus Aurelius read, "Avoid all actions that are random or purposeless." He also advises that every action should only be directed toward the common good, which is what it means to be a decent and meaningful human being. It is to share our resources, expertise, and gift with others who are less fortunate than we are in order to assist them. Continue to be kind to others, even if they could despise us and forget about us once you start helping others. Even better, pretend not to realize that you are doing somebody a favor. We should not be aware of all that Marcus Aurelius has done in his life. He advises use. That yields a cluster of grapes. Seek no greater favors than a horse who has completed a week of racing. Treat people well without looking for recognition. Helping others gives one a decent and adequate sense of satisfaction. Give thanks for everything that you have. It doesn't matter how wealthy or successful we are. Marcus Aurelius advises, do not indulge in dreaming of having what you have not, but think of the chief of the blessings you possess, and then, fortunately, remember how you would do and long for them if they were not yours. Nothing we want ever comes to pass. Not owning everything in the world equates to happiness. Happiness, on the other hand, comes from being appreciative of all we already have. How abundantly blessed. Imagine how much you would desire those benefits if you didn't have them, and then imagine that very clearly. With any luck, you will be able to apply some of these lessons to your own life, which will provide you more strength to carry out your life's mission of promoting the greater good and less pain, tension, and anxiety. The 7 most important Stoic teachings will never fade. The invulnerable, according to Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, is not something that never hurts, but rather something that never hits. If you're the kind that gets angry about anything and won't take anything personally, such as your boss picking on you, your loud neighbor, political disagreements, misinterpreted messages, burnt cake, etc., write anything that irritates you in the comments and give it some thought. Do you let annoyance, discouragement, or any other negative emotion to win you over, or do you choose to go on unfazed by it? Hello, we're the Diary of a Stoic, and in today's reading, we'll be exploring 7 Stoicism principles that may help us stay calm throughout the most trying times. These lessons may help you become genuinely unshakable. Even though it could be challenging at times, Emperor Marcus Aurelius will outline precisely how to implement each of these concerns in the final issue. Now let's move on to the first. The intelligent individual may experience physical infirmity or the nation's destruction during a battle. They won't, however, compromise his values. The callousness and indifference that historians often discuss have nothing to do with Stoicism. It's not only that you have no interests or concerns. Certain things are certain to remain on the nail. That might be very different. For instance, a young individual could experience the death of their own mother or a kid. Their tenet is to maintain harmony by peaceful means. It is hard to remain unsettled in this instance. However, by acknowledging that death is an unavoidable part of life and that it will happen to every human being, eventually, we may all come to the realization that there is no use in attempting to prevent death. Instead, we will have to accept death as it comes, no matter how horrible it may be. Although we will experience grief, it won't control how our lives turn out. Always keep in mind the tools you already possess to overcome any situation. We have seen that maintaining peace will need enormous work, and it won't happen overnight. Living a life of introspection and seeking self-awareness and self-control is essential. As such, it is critical that we be able to live a lifestyle grounded on contemplation and philosophy rather than in immediacy. In order to be able to use our own resources to rescue ourselves when needed, we must first develop internal resources. Training is necessary to develop this awareness of what is and is not within our control. We recommend using our Stoicism music as a self-training resource. I'll provide a link to it at the conclusion of the video and in the description. You won't find a playlist this extensive nowhere else, in my opinion. The less important ones don't even sense it, and they don't employ their typical power to put up a deadly fight. As a matter of fact, they ignore it, or believe they are deserving of pity and mockery. Now consider this. If we shouldn't be alarmed by significant challenging issues, then what about little ones? They really do infiltrate the line just in front of you. Even if you put in a lot of effort to complete the job, you still didn't receive what you really desired. You sent the person you like a WhatsApp message 3 hours ago, and they haven't responded. Just 12 people liked your lovely photo of yourselves married. I suppose you don't have to say anything after all. You must have recognized by now how meaningless it is to give in to such little desires. When things that you've been waiting a long time to happen finally do so with less fanfare. This is a fantastic concept to support our ability to bounce back from setbacks, and it's preparation of the mind, not pessimism. It reminds us that life is full of potential negative things. You must understand that no matter how well you prepare, unexpected things might happen. You have to understand that things fail and people die, that your body is susceptible to sickness, that your career may not endure forever, and so on. We offer you a video in our collection that will help you comprehend this on a deeper level. However, it's also worthwhile to look at a very useful practice to hone this ability. And keep in mind, if you feel like it's becoming too hard, heed the counsel that Marcus Aurelius gave us in the previous lesson. For the time being, however, consider this one, which is my personal favorite. Before beginning any work, take a moment to consider its nature. If you leave your home to use the toilet, consider what transpires there. Think back to the people who shoved you, splashed you with water, mistreated you, and stole from you. Okay, so I imagine you're not in the habit of going to public baths, right? If you tell yourself before you begin there, I want to bathe, and at the same time keep my moral purpose in harmony with nature, you will accomplish your duty with greater confidence. But I believe you've grasped the concept that, above and beyond what you must or want to achieve, you have a greater purpose, to maintain your moral purpose in balance with nature. Keep this in mind. Imagine you have to travel someplace and get stuck in an insane traffic congestion, which causes you to be late. To bring it closer to our reality, when the light turns green, you're going to see the man attempting to cut you off, someone honking behind you, someone cutting you off and leaving you in the center of the junction, and a pedestrian sprinting in front of you as they cross the lane, which will force you to use the brakes. And lastly, every major city's everyday pandemonium. You could be fortunate enough to avoid it, but I'm sure you encounter equally difficult or almost unpleasant circumstances. The key is that you go in prepared, knowing that anything is possible, and you have to perform both your work and your moral obligation in addition to your task. You have to consider that if you get upset over what is going on, you won't be able to do this. Being invulnerable does not mean that something never gets struck. Rather, it means that something never gets injured. That demonstrates your wisdom. As seen before, nobody is immune to life's setbacks. Some are unavoidable. We cannot always avoid them. However, the prudent one is the one who does not feel wounded after taking such hits. The unwavering individual is the smart one. Although you have no control over what occurs to you, you do have power over how you respond to it. But honestly, how many of us could really be that way all the time? Undoubtedly, not many. What then can we do? Marcus Aurelius, the emperor, knows the solution. Remember, nevertheless, that conditions affect our efforts. Not attempting the impossible is your aim. What then is the objective? Attempting and accomplishing your goals is attained. A number of things might determine how well your actions turn out. Even if you are aware that you are as prepared as you possibly could be for a competition, there were still a lot of questions you had about it. A few other competitors had been training for a longer time. Even though a lot may go wrong, you tried your hardest, studied as much as you could, and got ready as much as you could. That is what counts. Try again when the subsequent decree is released. The same holds true for Stoic activities. It's odd that you won't always be able to use them. Everyone is not flawless after all. However, you should make every effort to apply them in every circumstance. It will become simpler with practice, as you will discover. Indeed, before long, the unimportant items we observed in Lesson TR won't even catch your attention. And because the majority of our days are occupied with the small things, that's already a significant victory. We invite you to subscribe if you're interested in learning more about how great thinkers may help us reimagine our lives for true success, balance, and peace of mind. To ensure you don't miss our next lessons on time management, let's say a bank credits your account with 86,400 each morning. Every night, it clears away any portion of the balance that it didn't utilize throughout the day. It doesn't carry over any balance from one day to the next. How would you respond? Sure, take out every dime. We all own the bank. Time is the name of it. You are given 86,400 seconds each morning. Write down whatever you haven't been able to invest for a worthy cause every night. It does not permit overdrafts and does not maintain a balance. It has a fresh account for you every day. Burn the remnants of the day every night. You bear the loss if you don't utilize the deposits for the day. There is no going back or turning away from the future. As a result, there is either insufficient or excessive time. We are the only ones who can determine how to manage our time. The question of whether we want to accomplish something or not is always more important than whether we have the time to do it. We'll cover 5 crucial and useful time management strategies in this video that will enable you to accomplish all of your goals. First piece of advice: devour that frog. Author Brian Tracy came up with the idea, which centers on doing the most crucial tasks first thing every day. As Mark Twain famously observed, if you eat a live frog first thing in the morning, you can face the day knowing it's probably the worst thing that will happen to you all day. Your greatest chore, and the one you tend to put off, is your frog. In the event that you take no action, the theory is that if you do a chore in the morning that you would have otherwise put off, you'll feel accomplished and find the remainder of the day to be easier. Let's take a scenario where you have a report to write, food to purchase, and laundry to do. You know how much you detest washing laundry every day. So, the method to prioritize your to-do list is to start completing the item that you are likely to delay. In this scenario, I would propose that you wash the laundry first before you do anything else. After completing the dreadful chore, the route of shopping and writing a report won't seem as difficult, and you'll feel more in control. Let's pretend you're a salesman. Making sales calls is one of the most critical things you can do to complete business, but it's also one of the toughest, since you need to hear 20 no's for every yes you receive. The rationale for this strategy is because, in the morning, your mind is clear, the workplace is calm, and you haven't been tugged in 6 different ways yet. It's your one opportunity to prioritize what matters most to you before your phone begins ringing and your email inbox starts filling up. By clearing something crucial off your to-do list before anything else, you have both momentum and a feeling of success before 10 a.m. Getting things done is a habit, and if you start each day by achieving something significant, you'll get more done than 90% of the people in the company. Whatever your frog is, make sure you have all supplies and equipment ready the night before so that there is least bother the following day. For example, if your objective as a sales manager is to make 50 calls, have your customer list ready. Make sure the list is filled out accurately with contact information and past observations. The likelihood of completing the task increases with the number of unimportant items on your mind upon waking up. Use the Eisenhower matrix as your second tip. The Eisenhower matrix is essential for determining your most crucial task, getting to know your frog. The task's importance and degree of urgency might be used to evaluate any task according to the matrix. Make sure that urgent and vital tasks get top attention. Not urgent but significant tasks should be delegated. Urgent but unimportant tasks are accomplished. Avoid doing things that aren't critical or urgent. You'll save time by doing this. United States President Dwight D. Eisenhower, the 34th, introduced the matrix. His constant struggle with making tough choices required daily attention. He finally developed the renowned Eisenhower principle as a result of this, which aids in our current practice of prioritizing tasks according to significance and urgency. Practicing creative procrastination is the third tip. Carrying out a highly skilled task that is superfluous is among the worst ways to spend time. One day is not enough to do everything. So that you have enough time to do the things that really matter, learn to consciously put off the jobs that have little value. Few people take advantage of delay as often as innovators and creative professions do. Else, if you have a task that is very essential, make a list of things you should never do. This way, you can remember yourself not to do the things that impede your productivity. You have to make 50 calls in the morning, for instance, if you are in charge of sales. After that, jot down a list of the activities you should avoid doing, such as viewing movies and checking email while on Facebook. Mark the tasks you failed to complete successfully with a check mark after making those calls. The Pomodoro method is the fourth piece of advice, with its emphasis on providing you with maximum attention and creative freshness. The Pomodoro method is a time management philosophy that may help you finish assignments more quickly and with less mental strain. It's an easy process. Allocate small blocks of time for each activity you work on throughout the day and take occasional breaks. Put in 25 minutes of labor. Next, have a 5-minute rest period. Inspired by the Italian term for tomato, each 25-minute work time is called a pomodoro. Following 4 pomodoros, 100 minutes of labor, followed by 15 minutes of rest. Take a 15-20-minute break. Make sure to record the breaks and a X to indicate your completion of each pomodoro. Your mind stays concentrated and fresh when you take frequent pauses. It's simple to use, and you'll notice benefits soon, according to the official Pomodoro website. It's likely that within a day or two, you'll notice a shift in the way you work or study. After 7 to 20 days of regular application, the method may be truly mastered. Furthermore, its to-do list is extensive and diverse. Employing the Pomodoro approach will not force you to follow a rigid schedule, but it will help you accomplish jobs more quickly and with less fatigue. Since Francesco Cirillo developed this strategy in 1980, people have been using it to increase their productivity, both personally and professionally. Remembering to obtain a good night's sleep is the fifth piece of advice. You could associate early risers with a never-ending sleep schedule with industrious individuals. However, restless nights won't propel you toward your objectives any quicker. Research from Stanford University in 2009 revealed that a drop in sleep duration was associated with a fall in productivity. Individuals who slept for fewer than 6.5 hours a night were found to be more prone to illness and to have difficulty focusing. American workers lose 11.3 days of work year on average because of sleep deprivation, according to a 2010 Harvard University research. Thus, don't deceive yourself into believing that skipping sleep makes you more productive. Sleep deprivation reduces productivity at work and increases susceptibility to illness. Getting adequate sleep each night is essential for being genuinely productive. Recall that there are many time management strategies that may help you be more productive and accomplish your objectives more quickly. These strategies include eating that frog, using the Pomodoro method, applying the Eisenhower matrix, practicing creative procrastination, and getting adequate sleep. I hope these pointers prove helpful to you and enable you to do more tasks in a shorter amount of time. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, like, and share this video if you like it. Thank you for watching.